Hello one and all, and as if you didn't need introductions by now, but my name is Harry.
And my name is Sean.
And welcome to Robottal Wars.
Last episode we saw our craziest fight yet as the unruly bot patrol slaughtered Feisty Avian in our hysterical main event. Tonight, we're joined by even more mangling machines, all looking to move on to round 2.
Indeed, Sean, and how does that all work, you ask? 96 machines start off in round 1, and only 48 of these will win their fights, either via a KO victory or judge's decision to progress to the second round. However, because we're nice people, we have 16 precious wildcard spots up for grabs as well. So robots are looking to impress our judges via control, damage, and aggression to be rewarded that second chance.
Will we see any wildcard contenders this episode? Well, Harry, this fight card is looking pretty stacked, so we could be in for some great matches here. And starting us off will be the dual bar spinner double cross taking on the legendary full body spinner Koro. Then after that, the flipper All-American Cheese will take on Banter Wars legend Siren. Then we have the disc spinner of Lazarus taking on the top front hinge flipper of Deep Impact. Then the Yeti-inspired spinner Mastodon will take on Gripper Gang. And then the largest robot in Robottal Wars, Zero Anxiety, will take on real Robot Wars legend Push to Exit. And then the long bar spinner of Hyperion will take on Anarchy legend Rusty. Then Dreadbeater will take on the long overhead arms of Double Donk. Lock and Load will then take on Squash in an axe battle. Tentatively Insane with its lifting scoop will take on the lowest flipper in Robottal Wars, Platypus. The powerful spinner of Vertigo will take on the Walker of Weeble, and in our main event, the Shark Flipper Mokkaran will take on the Clusterbots of Yin and Yang.
Just when you think the bots can't get any more exciting. Come on, Sean, enough of the chatter. I want to see some robot destruction.
Well, Harry, you may be in luck. Orcs Wars representatives have been a mixed bag on this show. Big names like the Tin Tuna 2 and Ursula have fallen already. But other machines like Deadnaws and Slapshot are looking unstoppable right now. However, I think here we are guaranteed brutality. Meet Koros.
Koros has been a staple of Orcs Wars, reaching the semi-finals. Koros from Demon Industries is an honour to have in this competition. One giant full-body spinner packed with deadly cutting teeth. This machine may look gorgeous, but it will be anything but pretty in the arena.
Team Demon Industries are confident that Koros will continue its warpath the machine set on in Orcs Wars. Will Koros be triumphant here? We'll have to see, but one thing is for certain. When Koros is in the arena, you better not be.
And it's Orcs Wars Mania as Koros, the semi-finalist, goes up against the New Blood Double Cross. Double Cross from Team Charleston with the Undercutter and the top spinner, this double-bladed weapon. Quite concerning, but Koros, certainly the more learned of the two machines here. It has the history, it has the status. Sean, who do you think is winning this fight?
It's hard to say. Double Crossed has two weapons which can be double the damage, but it means that you have to divide that weapon up. And as you can see here, Koros, focusing purely on that shell spinner, allows it to put all of its power into that, and it's ripping the underbar of Double Cross. The one on top, barely touched, but honestly, it looks like this is Koros' fight. Koros not being phased even in the slightest by Double Crossed here.
Absolutely, and just there we see Double Cross taken out by Koros here. In the early stage of the battle, I thought Double Cross had a few good hits in, but here, once the weapons started getting taken out by Koros, this is where the fight really started to turn in Koros' favour. Which turns out that sometimes, even though we have seen some newbies come onto the screen and take out some of the legends, here it's just very much like the old.
No double crossing there. Koros was after blood from the very beginning and absolutely showed what it's capable of. What a way to start this episode of Robottal Wars.
Absolutely, Sean. Double crossed in double trouble here. Koros looking like an absolute monster as the Team Demon Industries machine moves on to round 2.
A big congratulations to Koros joining the ever-growing list of exciting machines in our second round. And now from an Orcs Wars legend to a Banter Wars legend, here's Siren.
Siren has had quite the history, becoming the eventual champion of Banter Wars Series 2 and making its mark in Orcs Wars, reaching the semi-finals with Siren's Vengeance. This machine really is a legend by this point. A control bot with a very effective lifting grabber mechanism. It is nothing short of an honour to have Siren here.
Team Seaborg claim that Siren has achieved everything he wanted it to achieve and is now ready to retire it. Upon hearing about Robottal Wars, he decided he needed one more triumph to add to his collection. Putting on one final show, Team Seaborg is hoping to become the inaugural winner of Robottal Wars and retire Siren as a 2-time Robot Combat Champion. And here we have All-American Cheese versus one of the robots with the biggest legacies in Robottal Wars throughout its numerous tournament entries. That is Siren. Now, Harry, what do you have to say about a grabber that's as well known, as legendary as Siren?
Well, honestly, Team Seaborg makes some fantastic machines in here, and while they haven't had that much luck in Robottal Wars so far, there's no denying they are beautifully built, and I don't think it goes any further than Siren here. Siren looking absolutely gorgeous, a fantastic grabber mechanism here. But All-American Cheese getting some good flips in here on Siren. This could be it for the legend. And I've been speaking to Dom from Team Seaborg, and he tells me that this is Siren's last run. If it loses here, that's Siren gone for good, Sean.
That would be devastating. Siren, one that most people likely know here. You can see, though, it's being flipped around. I think this could potentially be Siren's last stand. If it continues to get flipped like this, I can't imagine Siren winning if it goes to the judges. But now you can see Siren taking control. A lovely grab there, going for a box rush. Oh, amazing work there. And it's out of the arena. All-American Cheese is out of the arena. Siren's done it.
I never. All-American Cheese trying to desperately to get back into the arena. But I think it's all over. Siren, some fantastic driving here by a seasoned veteran in Siren. And my God, by the skin of its teeth, Siren with a beautiful grab pushes All-American Cheese out of the arena. You just can't get good driving like this. Usually, honestly, Dom, a fantastic driver, fantastic builder. Siren through to the next round, and the legacy continues. And here on the replay, early aggression here from Siren, lifting up and tossing over All-American Cheese. But All-American Cheese, very impressive here. The unorthodox machine throwing Siren about, all over the place. All-American Cheese, very good showing here.
Oh, absolutely. I was wondering if Siren could do it, as the power of that flipper, while not the most powerful, was enough to really get Siren dazed and confused. But there you can see, after the big box rush, getting it up and over the wall, Siren's legacy continues to the second round.
And the legend continues. Commiserations to All-American Cheese there, but another win for Siren means it's not retiring yet. Excellent control here from Team Seaborg after 3 big losses. Finally, a deserving victory.
A big congratulations there to the legendary Siren, securing Team Seaborg a chance to carry on in the competition and aim for one last piece of gold.
Who do we have next, Sean?
Well, our next fight has a good bit of context behind it, as these next 2 robots are each made by members from Two-Headed Death Flamingo. Who will come out on top? The flipping Deep Impact or the spinning Lazarus?
Once teammates and now bitter rivals. 2 sides of the Two-Headed Death Flamingo face off here as Deep Impact, the very Red-Eye-esque robot, faces off against the horizontal spinner of Lazarus. And I fear that spinner, Sean. What do you think right now?
Well, right now, I'm unsure. Personally, I love the compact nature of Deep Impact. You can see there, so tight are all of the internals, and you can see that it's paying off dividends here. Lazarus getting flipped over. And Lazarus right now has been stuck in that one position for so long, they risk getting counted out, having to crawl away. Right now, they have a powerful spinning weapon, but they need to put it into use.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that, but this is the problem of a horizontal spin up against a flipper like this. The wedge needs to just get under Lazarus, and there we go. See, back in the arena, good stuff there. Very lucky for Lazarus, but my God, just look at the unforgiving torment that Deep Impact is giving Lazarus here. Lazarus overturned, no Shremek, and despite being invertible, that's just not good for them.
We have to explain one rule really quickly. If you're flipped out of the arena, if you can get back in, then you will be allowed to continue, but that's only if you can get out really quickly. And as you saw there was no hope for Lazarus once it got out of the arena on its side. An amazing showing from Deep Impact throughout this fight, keeping that disc from doing major amounts of damage. Lazarus might have escaped the arena, but Deep Impact just absolutely dominant throughout this fight, leaving a deep impact on the Robottal Wars tournament.
Team 6-4 throw Team Snappy Robots over and out. Lazarus eliminated, and Deep Impact now 1-0, making its way into our second round. A good performance here by Deep Impact. Certainly could be an underdog, Sean.
A strong display by Deep Impact there, running rings around poor Lazarus. And now moving on, so far 2 Orcs Wars veterans have been triumphant. Will Mastodon score the hat-trick?
In Series 2 of Orcs Wars, Mastodon won its heat and made it to the semi-finals. All attack and no defense, this spinning drum bot is looking to mangle its opponents. Mastodon was originally a reserve for this season. However, after losing to Slapshot in the final of our unaired episode to decide the final Season 1 spot, Mastodon was selected to join the show after another robot dropped out. You know, Sean, they say that you shouldn't be biased as a commentator, but I can't help but despise a robot that is based off Lil Pump. And yet here we see Gripper Gang plaguing our arena up against an Orcs Wars great in Mastodon. And what? What is this? What is this, Sean?
I was about to defend Gripper Gang by saying you can't underestimate a grabber like that, but I didn't think it was going to actually win the fight against a robot with such a powerful spinner. But Gripper Gang using that lifter very effectively, getting it up and over the wall, and it's been counted out! I can't believe this!
I'm fuming! I am absolutely fuming! Gripper Gang turns up here in its disgusting look and just throws out an Orcs Wars legend. Just like that, Mastodon, one of my favourites from Orcs Wars, taken out in barely any time at all here. I mean, well done to Team Charleston, I guess, but man, Mastodon, why?
Gripper Gang with the huge upset there. Mastodon lifted up and over the arena sidewall and left humiliated, defeated by Gripper Gang.
Robot combat is never a predictable state of affairs, Sean. Mastodon absolutely would have won that any other day of the week, but the one time when it matters, Gripper Gang trumps the Orcs Wars semi-finalist and moves on to round 2. Congratulations to Team Charleston on this shock win, even if I did want to see Mastodon make it. Ah well. But seriously, go check out Orcs Wars and Overclocked. Without Orcs Wars, this show would honestly never exist. So a huge, huge thank you to Mitch.
Without a doubt. And speaking of YouTube channels, we have 2 teams you may very well know facing off against each other for a big round 2 spot.
Indeed, from Team Saxon, we have the front hinge flipper of the famous Push to Exit versus the full body spinner of death, Zero Anxiety from Team MS2.
Battle of the YouTube is here. Team MS2 with Zero Anxiety versus the real-life robot brought to Robot Arena 2 Push to Exit. That front-end flipper could really turn the battle around, but as you can see here, the power of Zero Anxiety is undeniable, taking off some damage there on Push to Exit. Harry, what do you think of this fight?
Well, Zero Anxiety looking very good in the early moments of this battle, but you can't ignore that front hinge flipper of Push to Exit. So far, only superficial damage really done by Zero Anxiety here, and now Push to Exit on the offensive, throwing about Zero Anxiety, and this is what I feared. Sean, apparently Zero Anxiety is the biggest robot that we have in this season of Robottal Wars, and honestly, I think that's to their detriment, because look at Zero Anxiety now, flying out of control. There is no control from the driver here.
Full body spinners have a hard time self-righting, and with their size, I don't think that Megabyte inspired arm at the top is going to do them any good, especially with a front hinge flipper to try and keep them in check. They are not having any control whatsoever. I think that they can't possibly recover from this.
Seemingly, there's no chance they're going to be self-righting, and as we thought, the fight has ended. The officials call it off because they claim that Zero Anxiety was not having any controlled movement, and therefore Push to Exit wins the fight. Zero Anxiety lost its control very, very early on in this battle and had a long time to be able to self-right and simply didn't. Unfortunate stuff here for Team MS2, but Team Saxon laughing as they go through to round 2.
Zero Anxiety? That spinner potentially breaking through our plexiglass gave me a lot of anxiety. Push to Exit didn't have to do much there. Zero Anxiety was wildly out of control, Harry.
Indeed, a win there for Push to Exit by judge's decision. Zero Anxiety was seemingly too powerful for its own good. The lack of control for the remainder of that fight had to go against it. So congratulations, Push to Exit, for making it through to our second round.
After that wild fight, it's time for a breather, I think, Harry. So here are some of the other fights which we haven't got time to show in full. And here you can see Rusty trying to be aggressive, but Hyperion with those hugely powerful vertical spinning weapons tossing Rusty about, tearing off chunks as it did so. Rusty mainly had to run away and have those few little bits of aggression, and it just meant that throughout the match, Hyperion got in hit after hit, until finally beaching Rusty upon the wall. Rusty's lifting head could not touch the wall, and that was Rusty's run in the tournament cut short.
We have highlights for reasons, and reasons like this are very, very fitting. Dreadbeater with the drum spinner really didn't get any damage in on Double Donk, but Double Donk absolutely useless when it came to the battle, and Dreadbeater barely had to do anything except a few nudges to get through on a very, very dull win. When Squash went up against Lock and Load, it was Axe versus Axe here, as it was a very, very slow fight. Squash and Lock and Load here just constantly hacking at each other until the fight became Axe versus Stick, followed by Axe versus Nothing. Squash here just absolutely dominating the weapon, and whilst the fight was very slow and very dull, Squash looked very powerful in its victory.
And here you can see the lifting scoop of Tentatively Insane being flipped about by Platypus Steak. Platypus is an incredibly powerful, low to the ground flipper, and as you can see throughout the fight, Tentatively Insane was just thrown about. Platypus really did not let Tentatively Insane get any offense in throughout the entire match. Platypus through.
Some great wins there for these machines, Sean. We'll be seeing more of Hyperion, Dreadbeater, Squash and Platypus in round 2. Now, what fight do we have next?
Well, Harry, remember that really quick fight back in episode 1 with that drum spinner quantum destroying Rice Icer?
Indeed I do, Sean. Isn't that the one with the Moby Huge?
Well, Team 6-4 have made another drum spinner which they claim is even more powerful than Quantum. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Vertigo.
Vertigo is one of 2 mighty drum spinners from Team 6-4 featuring in this competition. But whilst they may look similar, they actually perform very differently. Whilst Quantum is designed to slam into opponents, Vertigo has a very low wedge front built to get underneath its victims and cut up their under chassis and kill their mobility.
Vertigo is a robot that should be feared. To go into battle with it with any level of confidence that your machine will win is simply foolish. This robot is here to mince, mangle and murder. No matter what, the outcome will always be Vertigo standing over your destroyed corpse. Here we have the Walker of Weeble versus the most feared drum spinner in this competition, Vertigo. And starting off, Vertigo ramming in, sending Weeble right into the wall. Weeble, I mean, its words describe this perfectly. Boy, what are you doing coming up against Vertigo like this?
Well, the face on the top of Weeble says it all, really. I mean, that is the face I think any of us be making when we're wincing at Vertigo getting underneath and just cutting up Weeble like that. The poor machine here. Apparently they have troubles with it in the pits. It's running backwards for this fight, and that is certainly not helping them here. Vertigo, an absolute domination here by the Team 6-4 machine. We saw Quantum earlier. This is the big brother of Quantum, and Vertigo looking absolutely terrifying in this first round fight.
I have to wonder what Weeble's plan was for this fight. It couldn't really do anything, and so that let Vertigo come in again and again and again with that nice potent drum. No real signs of gyro, meaning it was constant. Vertigo's in the next round.
Heaven forbid! Weeble! The poor machine, one of our lovable walker bots here on Robottal Wars, thrown to the side by the ruthless Vertigo. A terrifying win here for Team 6-4.
Vertigo looking very impressive after the performance, Harry. Team 6-4 really left Team Unorthodox with nowhere to go. Excellent driving here from Vertigo and a very deserving win. Let's see if the warpath shall continue in round 2.
We shall have to see, but I fear for whoever they draw next. Weeble sent home needing more than just a bandage. Vertigo moves on in absolute domination.
Indeed, Harry, and now from 1 spinner to 2 as the Clusterbot shell spinners Yin and Yang tackle the great white flipping shark Mokaran.
Absolutely, Sean. We've finally reached it. It's time for tonight's main event.
And here we are with your main event. The Clusterbot Yin and Yang versus Mokaran, the flipper. You can see right there from the beginning, Yin and Yang crashing into Mokaran, tipping it over. Possibly two of the most powerful robots in this Clusterbots in this competition, both having the kind of power you'd expect from just a singular robot. Harry, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, there's already huge amounts of energy here, high on octane as we go into our main event here. Mokaran from Team MS2, certainly impressive with that flipper, but I do fear that the spinners of Yin and Yang, once they get going, I've been told are very, very powerful. And working in unison, they could get at those exposed wheels of Mokaran. Honestly, I think this one could be anyone's fight, but there we see a few crucial moments as the flipper of Mokaran torn off partly by the spinner of Yin and Yang. I mean, one part of Yin or Yang, I'm not quite sure which, in trouble, but these two looking fantastic right now.
That Yin and Yang definitely have a weakness in the form of the Streamek being actually too powerful, but at the same time, once again, just one of them has the kind of power you'd expect from a single robot, and Mokaran is feeling that. That face is brutally mangled as it tries to get back. It's trying to get it back to regain some power in this match, but right now, sat on top of Yin and Yang, the moment it gets down, it's going to be in for a world of hurt right here. And Yin and Yang, they're right now fighting for each other, despite the peaceful nature of Yin and Yang. They're fighting to get a piece of that shark.
Wow, I'm fearing for those exposed wheels of Mokaran right now. I honestly feel that Yin and Yang could be taking out one of those very soon if they don't start hitting each other. Yin and Yang, some poor driving here could mean that they both immobilize each other. But Mokaran in a lot of trouble here. They need to be getting away from this torment. Both sides, good driving here from the Clusterbots, getting underneath Mokaran now. Mokaran beached. We've heard of beached whales, but Sean, you ever heard of a beached shark?
Not at all, though I will point out that one of the Clusterbots has had their teeth ripped off. This could potentially be damaging. If Mokaran can somehow, with what is left of the flipper, get a good flip on that robot, it could potentially take out half the competition. But I think it's too far gone for Mokaran at this point. Mokaran, one wheel, barely any flipper left. I think at this point, killing it would be merciful more than anything. I feel so bad for the shark here.
Well, I must say it's admirable though for Team MS2 of Mokaran here. Despite getting torn to pieces, one wheel, barely any flipper left, still getting flips in on the Clusterbots here. And now Yin and Yang both without weapons. This has been brutal as a main event, absolutely damaging for both machines here. Honestly, even though Mokaran goes out of this, I think being the loser, just what a great showing by both. Whoever loses this is absolutely getting a wild card.
One thing I have to point out is it's usually very difficult to push with a circular body, but because of the combined teamwork of Yin and Yang, you can see Mokaran not even getting control at this point. What a way to end this fight! Yin and Yang, in my opinion, were dominant throughout this whole affair, going in with the huge ram at the beginning, Mokaran getting in that flip, potentially being able to try and take control, but you can see bits of Mokaran ripped off, just chunks torn away. I feel so bad for Team MS2 in this. They can't have even anticipated Mokaran getting punished this badly.
Honestly, Mokaran became fish food, but Yin and Yang also destroyed by the end. Gotta go to the judges.
Now that was what I call destruction, Harry. Yin and Yang toothless, Mokaran turned into fish food. What a main event, Harry. How on earth will the judges decide the winner of that one?
I must say, I wouldn't like to be them right now, Sean. An excellent display of damage from the machines there. Mokaran with some great flips on the cluster bots, but that fight went the full distance, and Mokaran certainly felt that by the end. Sean, do we have a winner?
We certainly do, Harry. The fight divided the judges considerably with a 2-1 split decision for the first time this season. However, this battle really was one of two halves, and despite all three machines losing their weapons by the end of the fight, the judges ruled that Yin and Yang did considerably more to Mokaran than vice versa. And based on this, it may be controversial, but they've gone for Yin and Yang!
Congratulations to Yin and Yang on that close win there, but that damage to Mokaran's flipper and wheel really did make the difference in the end. What a great main event for this episode, Sean. Commiserations to Mokaran, but surely a wildcard is on the horizon after that violent performance.
We'll be finding out the 16 machines getting the special wildcard spots very soon. We'll have more details next episode. But until then, thank you all for watching. Round 2 is getting closer by the minute. We only have one more episode left of round 1, and the competition is getting tougher and tougher. This should be good.
Absolutely, Sean, but before we go, be sure to go check out the latest episode of Pit Talk over on Good Robottal for all the behind the scenes discussion where we speak to some of the builders and cover battles, building and more.
And whilst you're here, be sure to give Good Robottal a subscribe if you haven't already, plus you can check out my channel at The Dominus Cygnus in the description below. But until next time guys, I've been Sean.
And I've been Harry.
And that was carnage. That was mayhem. That was Robottal Wars. Goodbye.